After over a decade of exploring Japan multiple times a year as a tourist, yep, that's me, I'm diving into uncharted territory, sharing my bold travel predictions for Japan in 2025. So here are 12 things that might shape your trip to Japan this year. Some of these could totally happen, but hey, I could also be way off. Either way, this will be a fun video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button and let's dive in. Number 1, 2025 will be the year of Osaka, and we're gonna get a little bit sick of it. Osaka and the surrounding Kansai area is gearing up for a monumental year in 2025 as it hosts the World Expo, or Expo 2025 Osaka Kansai, from April to October. And I've got a feeling that social media, YouTube, TikTok, etc. will be flooded with Osaka content this year. This city's growing reputation for its culinary delights, vibrant nightlife, and proximity to other tourist hotspots like Kyoto, Nara, and Kobe will further solidify its position as a must-visit destination in 2025. By the way, I have a whole Osaka guide. You might want to check that one out. Number 2, expect more flights to Japan. From North America and Europe, airlines are likely to expand direct flights from major US cities like Chicago, Houston, and Seattle, and European hubs like Paris, London, and Frankfurt. With growing demand from countries like the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam, this will also lead to more frequent connections. In Australia and New Zealand, there's rising interest in Japan as a year-round destination, especially for skiing and cherry blossoms, and this will likely lead to more direct flights too. Also, expect more flights from China and potentially South Korea. Number 3, increase of hotel prices will continue, unfortunately, and booking in advance will become more important than ever. With Japan expecting record-breaking tourist arrivals, some supply chain issues in construction and limited hotel capacity in major cities will continue to drive prices up. The demand surge for accommodations during peak seasons such as cherry blossoms, summer festivals, and autumn leaves means that travelers will need to secure the bookings months in advance, especially for popular areas like Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, or potentially look to staying further out of the city to get cheaper deals. Don't forget to subscribe! Actually, this is the very first video of 2025, so Happy New Year! Could you please subscribe and help my channel reach 100k this year? Or is that too far-fetched? Anyway, number 4, more discussion and maybe implementation of tourist dual pricing compared to local pricing. For example, there was a lot of discussion in 2024 of the idea of dual pricing systems, charging tourists higher entry fees than locals. And this will continue to gain traction as a way to fund maintenance and offset the impacts of over-tourism. Himeji Castle is set to employ this system soon, and 2025 will be the year where perhaps other iconic sites such as Kyoto's temples and other castles may consider similar measures. Number 5, more limits or restrictions for tourism in certain areas. The trend of imposing daily visitor limits is set to expand in response to over-tourism concerns. Recent examples include Ginsen Onsen, where restrictions on tourist access has been implemented during certain times of the year to protect its traditional ambience. Mount Fuji, where a daily cap on climbers during the summer season and additional fees were introduced. And Kyoto, where some private alleys in historical districts saw increased signage and patrols to keep tourists from trespassing or disrupting residential areas. And I predict that there might be other potential areas for restrictions in 2025. These could include Miyajima and Shirakawa-go, where narrow pathways and fragile ecosystems are under pressure. Number 6. Being prepared and booking ahead will be crucial. 2024 was a year of preparedness. Booking activities and sites in advance became crucial if you wanted to secure entry to places like Team Lab or Shibuya Sky. Making sure that you had a stable internet connection was and continues to be a must for smooth travels. And I predict 2025 will bring even more offerings from booking platforms and a surge of pocket Wi-Fi rental and data SIM providers competing with tempting offers. But why wait? Use a trusted product. For activities and attractions, consider using my Klook affiliate link, which offers a seamless way to book activities, trains, and more in advance while often scoring discounts. And for staying connected, I've been trusting Sakura Mobile for years now. They provide a reliable data SIM or pocket Wi-Fi option that I personally recommend. Trust me, being prepared makes all the difference. And like always, if things change and I find a better product to recommend, I'll be sure to do so. Help this small creator out by using my links for a product that you are likely going to get anyway. Number 7. The yen or the dollar to remain as it is for most or the whole of 2025. Barring any major geopolitical or economic upheavals, the yen-dollar exchange rate is likely to remain stable. Japan's efforts to boost inbound tourism combined with steady global travel demand may discourage significant fluctuations. However, economic recovery in the US and Japan's domestic fiscal policies could create short-term shifts. Number 8. The return of Chinese visitors will impact tourism. Chinese tourists, who were Japan's largest pre-pandemic visitor group, are expected to return in significant numbers in 2025. Their presence will drive high demand for luxury goods, for example cosmetics and electronics, increased hotel occupancy rates, especially in urban areas like Tokyo and Osaka, and crowding at iconic sites such as Mount Fuji and Kyoto. While this might boost the economy, it may also strain infrastructure and reignite debates about over-tourism. Probably there'll be a lot of debates about over-tourism in 2025 too. Number 9. Earlier sakura seasons and later autumn leaves. Flexibility and forecasts will be crucial in 2025. Climate change is causing cherry blossoms to bloom earlier or unpredictably, and autumn foliage to peak later than expected, and travelers will need to monitor forecasts and adjust itineraries to catch these seasonal highlights. Additionally, areas in higher altitudes or northern regions like Tohoku or Hokkaido may become more popular for those seeking a more traditional seasonal timeline. Number 10. Airfares will increase because, well, higher fuel costs, ongoing geopolitical tensions, and supply chain disruptions will keep jet fuel prices elevated. Inflation will mean that rising operational costs for airlines, including wages and airport fees, will be passed on to us, the tourists. And there'll be increased demand. A surge in global travel, particularly to Japan for events like the Expo 2025 or the Formula One, will give airlines the leverage to raise prices. My tip to find the best flight prices would be to start tracking prices 6 to 8 months in advance by using sites like Expedia or Google Flights. Number 11. We're gonna start hearing of problems of over-tourism in smaller towns that have recently become popular, for example, Takayama or Kurashiki. As tourists seek alternatives to crowded cities like Kyoto and Tokyo, I expect to hear more reports of over-tourism, occupancy problems, and potential unruly behavior in smaller towns that have in the last few years started to grow more popular, like Takayama and Kurashiki, as I mentioned. This could include overcrowded streets and public transport, increased waste and strain on the local ecosystem, and rising property prices, which can displace residents. Number 12. This one is more of a retail prediction and not a very important one, but maybe a little bit interesting and a little bit of a story time too. I remember when I first visited Japan, Uniqlo, which is a clothing store, was unique because it hadn't quite expanded out of Asia, and purchasing clothes from Uniqlo was affordable and fresh, and friends would always ask, "Where did you buy that?" That's all changed with the expansion of Uniqlo, which now feels more like a global powerhouse. And I predict Uniqlo's smaller brother or sister, GU or GU, or however you say it, to gain traction in 2025. I expect a lot of hype around this not too old Uniqlo sidekick, which offers more urban, trendy, and casual clothing, and even more affordable prices. So there you have it. My travel predictions for Japan in 2025. What do you think? I'm expecting travelers, especially return travelers, to move away from the golden route and take up the many promotions of off-the-beaten-path locations. Regions like Shikoku and Tohoku will see more visitors than previous years, and we will continue to not only see Japan's tourism boom, but also a country that tries to convince tourists to move away from the Golden Triangle. These have been 12 predictions for 2025. Do you agree with my insights, or do you think I'm missing something? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your predictions too. And if you're planning your trip to Japan in 2025, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on more tips, guides, itineraries, and more. and all the latest updates for your travels. Check out this video here for more interesting Japan travel planning content. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Safe travels! Happy New Year!